Hello everyone, I'm Taylor and I garden here in Wisconsin, Zone 4B, and today I'm going to be planting out my dahlia tubers. All of these tubers I have started, I believe it was mid-April. Usually I like to do it a little bit earlier, but they actually are all looking really good. They've been hardened off and they're ready to go. So these look really good that were planted in these bigger containers here. And these just look fine. Or look just fine, I should say, that were just planted in these trays. So these will have some more root disturbance than the ones in their own containers, but they'll all recover just fine from that. This is my dahlia area that I have. I've been working on the soil here, so I already have all my holes dug, and I thought these were 12-inch spacing, but they're not. They're actually, the rows are 12 inches apart, and then this way is 18 inches apart. So usually you want to hit that about 12 inches at a minimum for the tubers because they grow really big and you want those big tubers so that you can save them year to year. So what I've done here after I dug my holes is, and this is my drip tape if you're wondering what that is, which is another video, super handy. So in here, I already have alfalfa pellets. I have Biotone starter fertilizer, and I'm also going to put in some bone meal. Now, I did have a soil test done, and I was high in the phosphorus, so I'm not going to put a whole lot because I don't want to overdo it. This area did have plenty of phosphorus already, so, but that bone meal has been a recommended thing I've seen for your dahlia tubers. I also wanted to show you the experiment that we did this year, my mom and I. So we dug these out and just popped them in these pots and put them in my basement that stays about 60 degrees all winter. And I brought them out maybe early May. Shoot, I can't remember, I'm sorry. But they're putting on growth already. There are two that haven't shown any signs of life yet, but the rest of these are all looking good. And these I'm going to put in my landscaping just because the tubers are already big, so that will give them some more room. But that did work pretty well. We had pretty good success with that. Today is May 31st, and Hank knows that there's a baby bunny living in here. He's been after it. So I have waited until it's warm enough to know that there's not going to be frost anymore because dahlia tubers are susceptible to that and they'll turn black, and they will probably come back, but it will set you back. So next I'm going to get my tubers planted and I'll show you what the roots and stuff look like on them. Once we do that, I'll go over netting and trellising, or not trellising, but staking so that they're not flopping over, and also weed suppression. Here is my first tuber. So I have all my tubers labeled with the number system. It's a lot easier. It's also written in Sharpie on all of the tubers because if you lose the label, that mother tuber will still have it on in the fall, which is really nice. Sometimes it's distorted and hard to read, but at least it's a little something for you. So, and then I just have a document with the names and pictures in them. So this is what it looks like already. Wow, look at all those roots. Looking really healthy. So I already amended my soil in here. So we are going to, so I'm going to plant all of my tubers this direction. So all of these are just single tuber starts. So the reason you want to do this is if you do have to stake it, you can slide the stake on this side of all of them if you know which way your tubers are and you won't pierce that tuber. So I want to plant these 4 to 6 inches deep. And now I don't know if I'll be able to tell where the tuber is. So I'm going to plant it a little bit deeper than what it is on here. And I also have a bucket full of compost here, which I'm going to use to backfill it to help build my soil up here. Ooh, made a mess. All right. Okay, so that is the first one. And the next thing I'm going to do is label them. So I have this surveyor's tape, and I'm going to write the number on this and tie it loosely around the bottom. And I'm using a garden marker, which is supposed to be made for being out in the sun. So just like that. Then I'm going to tie it around one of the stalks down here. And I'm just going to repeat that 32 more times here. And then I'll go over the rest of the care for these. Now I'm onto the tubers that I started in the trays, and this is what they look like. So when you pull them out, they pretty much lose all the dirt that's around them, but you can see this one already actually started forming 2 more tubers, which is amazing. So this is what the rest of them will look like that I'm planting. I just want to show you guys this one. It's a really nice looking start. There's a fly bothering me. Sorry if you can, if it gets me again. But this one, look at how tiny this tuber is, and it's doing so good. So size of tuber doesn't always matter. I forgot that I also have Dahlia seedlings. So I started these with the wet paper towel method and potted them up once they show growth. And these are the double Dahlias, I believe from Swallowtail Gardens. So they'll be a total surprise on what they are. And I have 10, 11 of them to plant. So I'm really excited about that, and I'll show you what the roots look like when I pop them out here. So here's the first one, and I kind of knocked it off so you could see, but we have like little baby tubers forming already. So that will get planted just like the rest of them. I am all planted up here in this little dahlia patch in the cut flower garden. So these bigger ones are the ones that had their own pots to get woken up in, which you can see does make a difference on size. So the rest of these, but also I should mention that those were the ones that already had eyes and were like pushing growth when I brought them out of storage. So that might have something to do with it. The rest of these, and some of these aren't even above the ground yet, but they all had active growth. Some of them did not have roots yet, and that's okay too. They should form them, but I'm hoping it's just the variety. We'll find out, I guess. And then you can see the seedling little section, and then I planted 3 of my new ones that I got last year in the front there. So that is this area. So next I'm actually going to mulch this, which most of my cut area here is this black landscape fabric with the holes burned in it. And I love this, but for dahlias, it's a little bit difficult because as you can see, I planted them. Who knows if I got them lined up with the holes. I could pull it back over and see if it works, but this year I'm going to try mulching it with grass clippings that we have from our lawn. We don't put any chemicals on our lawn, so it's really good stuff for this. So I'm going to go and get that next. So surprise, we're almost a week later here, and I had some interruptions, and it like hasn't stopped raining, it feels like, in my free time. So I have my black plastic back out, and I'll give you a tour of that quick. So it is raining again right now, but right now I have this back out, and I shouldn't say plastic. This is landscape fabric. It's a woven product, and it melts when you take a torch to it. So mine, I got the dahlias planted quite close to where they were, or where the holes are. So I just took the torch and widened the holes on some of them, especially the ones that aren't poking through yet. So this is going to work well again for me this year. So the last step here then is the netting. You can use netting or staking. I did actually do nothing for some of mine last year, and they were mostly okay. So I guess it's up to you what you want to do. So this is netting from Amazon, and I can put a link below to it. And then I just have these stakes that I'll put it over. So I have a few of them. I really need one right there, but I don't have one right there. So just those few there. So this is kind of what it will look like. Again, I need another stake there, but it will be tight over it. And I do about, it must be like 2 feet high, so that just the blooms are kind of coming through to stabilize those. You can also use metal stakes for these. I've seen people use bamboo poles, like driveway markers. You just need that little bit, or even like wooden lath. You just need that little bit of support for them so that like in a storm or some wind that they're not just gonna flop right over. So I'll show you one other area that I planted my extras in here. So in here, what I call my median garden, I planted 33 extra dahlia tubers. You can see some of them are a little bit bigger, some of them haven't started poking through yet, and they're not going to be staked out here, or that's the plan as of right now. Okay, it's really pouring. I need to jump inside. Okay, I'm back up under cover here. So I'll be sharing lots of dahlia pictures hopefully soon. The ones that I did start are quite far ahead. There's actually one that even has a bud already. So I'm hoping that all this rain doesn't rot them all. But we do have sand here, which is excessively draining, and it doesn't stay wet. So wish me the best and good luck in your dahlia adventures as well. Take care.